He was a man who tore his own past apart with his bare hands. They tried to bury him in shame, in silence, in expectations. But instead of dying in that grave, he crawled out, rebuilt, reborn. He became the version of himself they never thought he'd survive long enough to meet.
Who is that in the mirror? Because it's not me, not the me they remember, not the one who smiled so easily, the one who bent so gently, the one who believed that kindness alone could tame a world made of teeth. That person is gone. I buried them quietly, no funeral, no flowers, just a grave inside my chest marked with a whisper. Here lies the one who tried too hard to be good in a place that fed on good. I'm not that person anymore. There was a time I apologized for existing, a time I folded myself into small shapes, just so others could feel big. A time I let them carve their names into my back and called it love. I remember that version of me, the one who kept giving chances to hands that only knew how to take the one who heard lies and still chose to believe maybe they didn't mean it, the one who sat in rooms full of people and somehow felt like a ghost at her own wake. That person died slowly, one disappointment at a time, one betrayal at a time, one, it's okay, I understand, when it was never okay, and I never understood. I watched myself disappear, piece by piece, until there was nothing left but a pair of shaking hands and a heart that didn't know how to beat without begging. They called that heart kind. They called it pure. They called it soft. Like softness was a gift, not the reason it kept getting shattered. I used to pray that they would see me the way I saw them, with patience, with forgiveness, with all those second chances I never earned, but still gave freely. They didn't. They saw a resource, a tool, a shoulder, a stepping stone, something to lean on until it cracked under the weight. Then they blamed the stone for not being stronger. I remember the night. I snapped no lightning, no thunder, just a quiet room, a tired body and a soul that finally whispered, enough. It wasn't rage at first. It was grief, for the person I kept trying to be, grief for the child who thought, if I just love harder, they'll stop breaking me. They didn't stop. So I did. I stopped explaining myself, stopped begging to be understood, stopped twisting my spine into apologies for things that were never my fault. I stopped holding on to hands that led me into fire, then blamed me for burning. They said I changed. They said I became cold. They said I turned into something unrecognizable. They're right. I am unrecognizable, even to myself. Sometimes I walk past old places where I used to sit and shrink, and I see a ghost of that person sitting there still smiling too wide, laughing too loud, trying to prove they're fine. I want to tell them stop. I want to tell them they don't deserve this version of you. I want to tell them one day you will understand why it had to end, because it did have to end. I couldn't keep being the healer for people who loved their wounds more than they ever loved me. I couldn't keep burning my own edges to keep others warm while they watched me turn to ash and asked for one more spark. So I made a decision, not a dramatic one, not some cinematic vow in the rain, just a quiet one. I chose me, and when I did something inside me, broke, then rearranged itself into someone else. Someone who doesn't wait for apologies that will never come. Someone who doesn't explain why no is enough. Someone who doesn't stay when everything in the room screams leave. They call it selfish. Now they call it heartless. They call it cruel. Because I refused to bleed on command, but none of them stayed on the nights I fell apart in silence. None of them saw the way. My ribs became prison bars, keeping my own heart hostage, because I was too scared to let myself feel the truth. I welcome the pain. Let me enjoy this pain. Let me feel every burn, every tear, every ounce of destruction that rips through me like a blade, carving its name into my soul. This is mine. This suffering, this agony, it belongs to me. No one else can claim it. No one else can bear it the way I do. I take it, I embrace it, and I make it my own. Pain is not my enemy. Pain is not my weakness. Pain is my companion, my teacher, my most loyal friend. It is the only thing that has never abandoned me. When everything else fell apart, when the world turned its back, pain remained. It whispered to me in the silence, held me when no one else dared, pushed me when my body begged for rest. I did not break. I transformed. I did not run. I stood my ground. Let me enjoy this pain. There is a beauty in suffering that no one understands, but I do. The weight of it, the sharp edges of it, the way it cuts deep and leaves scars like poetry carved into flesh. Each wound tells a story, each ache a lesson, each moment of torment a reminder that I am still here, that I did not fall, that I did not surrender. I have seen people collapse under the weight of their own sorrow. I have seen them beg for release, cry out for mercy, curse the heavens for their misfortune. But I am not like them. I do not bow to pain. I do not ask for relief. I do not need saving. I carry my suffering like a crown, like a badge of honor, like armor forged in the depths of my own darkness. Let me enjoy this pain, because pain is proof that I am alive. Pain is proof that I have not faded into nothingness. I have walked through fire, and I still burn. I have drowned in the abyss, and I still breathe. I have shattered 1,000 times, and I still rise. Every ache, every scar, every bleeding wound is a testament to my existence, and I will not run from it. I will not numb it. I will not let anyone take this from me. They would say, I should heal. They would say, I should move on, let go, find peace. But they do not understand. They do not know what it means to be shaped by agony, to be molded by suffering. They do not know what it means to take every ounce of torment and turn it into strength, to make it fuel, to make it power, to make it something greater than pain itself. I do, and I refuse to give that up. Let me enjoy this pain. Let me drink it in. Let it course through my veins. Let it remind me of everything that was taken from me and everything I have built in its place. Let it keep me sharp. Let it keep me ruthless. Let it keep me untouchable. Because pain does not weaken me. It does not control me. It does not define me. It elevates me. There is no peace for me, no soft comfort, no gentle warmth waiting at the end of this road. I do not want it. I do not need it. I was not meant for quiet rest. I was not meant for an easy path. I was meant to fight, to endure, to withstand storms that would tear others apart. And I do not fear it. I do not resent it. I welcome it. I crave it. I revel in it. Let me enjoy this pain. Because in this pain, I find clarity. In this pain, I find purpose. In this pain, I find something greater than happiness, greater than comfort, greater than peace. I find myself, the truest, purest, most unbreakable version of myself. A version untouched by weakness, untamed by fear, unshaken by loss. A version that does not need saving, does not need pity, does not need anything but this moment, this feeling, this fire that burns through me and makes me more than human. I will not apologize for the way I embrace this agony. I will not explain myself to those who do not understand. I will not soften my edges to make others comfortable. This is who I am. This is what I am made of. And I would not trade it for anything. Let me enjoy this pain. Let me own it. Let me live in it. Let me become it. Because in the end, pain is the only thing that has ever been real. The only thing that has ever stayed. And the only thing that will carry me forward when everything else fades away. And still, it grows. It feeds on every memory, every betrayal, every whispered lie. It fuels my fire, sharpens my edges, makes me something more than flesh and bone. I have walked through nightmares and turned them into dreams. I have bled and called it art. I have been torn apart and stitched myself back together with fire in my veins and steel in my soul. I do not beg for comfort. I do not wish for relief. I do not seek out the softness that others crave. The pain is my reward, my testament, my proof. It is the evidence of everything I have survived, everything I have conquered, everything I have made my own. I will not let go of it. I will not trade it for anything less than eternity. I warned them. I warned them all, but they didn't listen. They wanted to see what lay beneath my skin, what lurked behind my eyes. They whispered, taunted, provoked, craving the chaos they thought they could control. They mistook my silence for weakness, my patience for surrender. They wanted my demons. Now they are on their knees, begging me to stop. For so long I held it in. I caged the darkness, buried the rage, suppressed the storm that swirled in my soul. I played a part they wanted, wore the mask they approved of. I was the obedient one, the quiet one, the one who knew his place. But they kept pushing, kept testing the limits of my restraint. They never realized that the chains weren't for me. They were for them. I kept my demons locked away, not because I feared them, but because I feared what would happen if I let them out. And now, the chains are broken. Now there is nothing holding me back. They wanted to see the real me. They wanted to awaken the beast. And now, they run. Now, they plead. Now, they break the way I was broken. It is amusing to watch their fear, the same fear they once mocked me for. I see it in their eyes. The realization, the regret. It is too late. They thought they were the hunters, but they were always prey. They set fire to everything I built, thinking I would crumble in the ashes. But I didn't burn. I became the fire. They tried to drown me, but I didn't sink. I became the storm. And now, they drown in the very chaos they unleashed. I was not born a monster. I was made into one, shaped by betrayal, molded by pain, forged in suffering. Every scar they left on me became armor. Every wound became fuel. They broke me 1,000 times over, but they never understood. I don't break like them. I rebuild stronger. Every time they cut me down, I rose again. And now, there is nothing left of the person they knew. There is only this. There is only me.
Years of being pushed down, shoved aside, called nothing. He swallowed it all. Let it burn. Let it sharpen. Every insult, every sneer, every cheap victory they stole, he carved into his bones.
Oh, you can't stop me. I wasn't born with a crown. I wasn't handed anything. I clawed my way through blood, glass and betrayal just to breathe. I watched as the world tried to drown me in silence, but I learned how to breathe underwater. They thought I'd break. I didn't. I bent. I snapped back. Stronger, sharper, scarred, yes. But scars are just the body's way of saying, I survived things you couldn't. I didn't just walk through hell. I built a home in it. I learned its language. I danced with the demons. I carved my name into the walls of every nightmare they sent. And now, even the darkness knows not to mess with me. They don't get it. They never will. This isn't confidence. This is certainty. This isn't rage. This is focus. Every time they underestimated me, I grew sharper. Every time they tried to stop me, I became unstoppable. They tried to bury me, and all they did was plant a seed. I've bled in silence. I've shattered alone. But I never stayed down. I rose, not clean, not whole, not unbroken, but more dangerous than ever. Because now I know, I don't need permission. I don't need approval. I don't need anyone to believe in me. I believe in me. I became my own weapon. I stopped begging for mercy the moment I realized the world doesn't hand it out. It takes it. So I took mine. Every ounce of pain they gave me, I kept. Every betrayal, stored it. Every doubt, every sneer, every back turned, I forged into armor. Now they wonder why nothing gets to me anymore. It's simple. You can't cut someone who's already been carved into a masterpiece of pain. I don't have a soft heart anymore. They ripped it out when they called it weakness. I replaced it with fire. It burns constantly, not out of hate, but purpose. That fire drives me, feeds me, keeps me alive. And I know, they hoped I'd fold. They prayed I'd collapse quietly, so they wouldn't have to face what they did. But I didn't. I refused. I looked in the mirror and saw the truth. I saw the monster I became to survive. And I didn't flinch. I nodded. I said, I see you. Let's go to war. You think you can stop me? You'd have better luck trying to hold back a tsunami with bare hands. I am the storm now. I am the reckoning they tried to avoid. I'm not just walking toward my goals. I'm tearing through every obstacle with the force of 1,000 broken promises. They say I changed. Of course I did. I evolved. I adapted. I upgraded. I am not here to be liked. I am not here to be understood. I am here to win. And if that makes me the villain in someone else's story, so be it. I'll wear that title. But let's be clear. I didn't start the fire. I became it. I stopped explaining myself when I realized explanations are just ammo for cowards. Let them guess. Let them whisper. Let them fear what they cannot predict. I move in silence now. Not because I'm afraid, but because wolves don't howl when they hunt. They strike. This world doesn't respond to pity. It bows to power. And I've built mine in the shadows, forged it in agony, sharpened it in isolation. No one was there when I cried through clenched teeth. No one showed up when I fought battles no one saw. So don't expect me to make space for their comfort now. I was never meant to blend in. I was never meant to play small. I was built for more. Every instinct in me screams, go farther, go harder, don't stop. Not until bones break. Not until the earth cracks beneath my steps. Not until destiny kneels before me and says, I belong to you. I've buried versions of myself just to stay alive. Killed the soft parts. Smothered the innocence. But I kept going, and every part I buried became fuel for the part that rose. I'd rather be hated than loved. I stand at the edge of the world, a silhouette cut from storm cloud and midnight iron. The wind does not caress me. It claws at me, and I claw back. I am not here to be adored. I am here to burn. Love is a velvet noose. It slips around the throat disguised as warmth. And when you finally lean into it, it tightens. I have felt it. Soft hands offering comfort, while secretly counting my heartbeat, measuring how much of me they can own. They call it affection. I call it capture. I tore it away before it strangled the last wild breath in me. I would rather be hated than loved, because hatred is honest. Hatred shows its teeth in daylight. Love hides its knives in the dark. Hatred is a straight blade. Love is a poisoned chalice. Give me the blade. I can see it coming. I can break it in my fists and taste the iron of my own defiance. They whisper that I'm cold. They think I'm empty. But emptiness is just a room they can't enter. I built these walls from every betrayal, every soft promise that curdled into chains. I lined the bricks with the ashes of old trust, sealed the cracks with the wax of dead apologies. I live here. I thrive here. My solitude is a fortress no one can storm. I'd rather be hated than loved, because love begs for compromise, and I have nothing left to bargain. Love asks you to bow. Hatred demands only that you stand. I have chosen to stand. They call me ruthless. They mistake clarity for cruelty. But I see through their honeyed words how admiration becomes expectation, how admiration becomes ownership. I will not be owned, not by the smiles of friends, not by the sighs of lovers, not by the hands that once held me while plotting my quiet suffocation. I remember the night I buried the softer version of myself. No ceremony, no prayer, just a shovel and a sky slick with rain, the earth swallowing every apology I had ever made. When I stood again, mud on my boots, I felt the weight of freedom settle across my shoulders like a black crown. It did not sparkle, it burned. Hate me then. Hate me for refusing the leash. Hate me for walking through your fire and coming out a darker flame. Your hatred feeds me more than your affection ever could. Every glare is fuel, every curse a hymn. I rise on the smoke of your disapproval until the horizon itself bends. I'd rather be hated than loved, because love is a fragile currency, and I am done living on loans. Hate is a diamond, hard, unyielding, eternal. It cuts, yes, but I have become the cut. I am the shard in the mirror you dare not touch. They will say I lost my heart. Maybe I did. I traded it for a spine of steel and a pulse that beats only to my own drum. I do not need their warmth. I carry my own fire, black and bright. A star collapsed into willpower. Let them gather their roses, their soft words, their delicate lies. I will walk alone through the thorns, barehanded, bleeding if I must, because every drop of blood is mine, and mine alone. No one can claim it. No one can drink it and call it love. I am not cruel. I am inevitable. I am the storm that does not apologize for rain. I am the night that does not beg the sun to understand. Hate me if you need to. Your hatred is the truest compliment you can give. They gave me pain. I gave them war. I wasn't born with fire in my veins. They poured it into me, drop by drop, scar by scar. Every lie was gasoline. Every betrayal was a spark, and I burned. At first, I tried to hide it, tried to be what they wanted, software obedient, forgettable. I swallowed their poison and called it medicine. I stitched smiles over open wounds so no one would see me bleed. I let them shape me with their cruelty, thinking maybe one day they'd stop. They didn't. They broke the bones of who I was and laughed at the sound. They buried me in shadows and told me to be grateful for the darkness. But shadows are patient. They wait. They watch. They whisper. And one day, I listened. I stopped trying to heal in the way they approved. I stopped asking for their mercy. Mercy was a leash. Forgiveness was a cage. They wanted me tame, something they could break again and again. But pain does not tame me, it sharpens me. So I learned to carry it differently, not as weight, not as chains, but as a blade. Every insult became steel, every loss became an edge. Every night I lay awake with rage eating through my ribs. I was forging myself into something new, something unrecognizable. They gave me pain. I gave them war. I stopped running from the things they feared in me. I fed them. I trained them. The rage, the hunger, the darkness that used to terrify me now bends to my will. It moves when I move. It waits when I wait. And when I release it, the ground trembles. I am not haunted by monsters. I command them. They thought I'd stay on my knees. They thought I'd keep begging for scraps of their approval. They didn't see the war brewing behind my eyes. They didn't notice the soldier I was becoming in the silence. I learned patience from their cruelty. I learned precision from their betrayal. I learned strength from the weight they put on my back. They thought they were crushing me. They were building me. Now I move through life like a storm with a name. Every step is a warning. Every breath is a countdown. I don't shout my threats. I don't announce my strikes. I arrive without mercy, and I leave without apology. When I fight, it is not out of rage anymore. Rage burns out. This is colder, sharper. It's clarity. It's the understanding that they taught me exactly how to destroy them. They trained me for this. They gave me pain. I gave them war. And I don't fight fair. Fair is for those who still believe the world plays by rules. I don't believe that anymore. They taught me to hit first, to hit last, to never stop hitting until there's nothing left standing in front of me. They showed me that kindness is currency in a world that will rob you blind if you offer it too freely. So I carry my kindness in one hand and my war in the other. Which one they meet depends entirely on who they choose to be. Some call it vengeance. They're wrong. This is not about revenge. Revenge is personal. This is survival. This is evolution. This is the law of fire. Burn or be burned. I chose to burn. Now, when they look at me, I see it. The flicker of fear they try to hide. The knowledge that I am no longer something they can control. The realization that the weapon they tried to shatter has turned its aim on them. I see the way they step back. I see the way their voices shake. And I let them feel it. I let them sit in the silence between us. The silence heavy with all the things I am capable of.